We often blame power for corrupting the soul. In reality, absolute authority acts as a solvent, dissolving the accountability that forces us to behave and revealing the unfiltered self hidden beneath. Light Yagami represents the apex of societal expectation. He is a high-achieving student, the son of a police chief, and a teenager who has mastered his environment so thoroughly that he is suffocated by chronic boredom. When a brilliant mind operates without any intellectual friction, the surrounding world begins to look structurally flawed. To Light, society is not just imperfect, it is unacceptably decayed. It is a common mistake to look for psychological rot in the margins of society. Often, the most dangerous fractures are forged within the oppressive structures of apparent perfection. This notebook functions as an environmental trigger. By providing the means to execute anyone from a distance in total anonymity, it erases the legal and societal blowback that governs human behavior. The recurring imagery of the apple within the story alludes to the acquisition of forbidden knowledge. Once the wielder realizes they hold the power of life and death, they step outside the boundaries of human innocence. When you remove institutional guardrails, like laws and parental expectations, from a highly narcissistic mind, the results are explosive. The ego finally has the space to expand without resistance. The notebook's primary danger is that it strips away accountability. It leaves the wielder alone with their own logic, forcing them to psychologically justify why they should be the one to decide who lives and who dies. After his first 2 kills, Light faces severe cognitive dissonance. To avoid seeing himself as a common murderer, he constructs a moral framework that rebrands his actions as a heroic sacrifice. He adopts the logic of radical act utilitarianism, a theory championed by philosopher John Stuart Mill. It argues the most ethical choice produces the greatest good for the greatest number. Light views morality as a calculation. By eliminating violent criminals, he believes he is statistically reducing the net suffering of the innocent population. This cold arithmetic frames mass murder as a public utility, an instrument of necessary math. He maintains his golden boy reputation as a mask of perfection. He understands that society rarely questions those who fit its definition of success, using his pristine grades and polite demeanor to hide his activities in plain sight. This brand of mathematical morality is a seductive trap. It provides an egomaniac with the perfect excuse to rebrand his own desire for control as a form of righteous martyrdom. As Light's influence grows, his actions move from individual killings into the realm of biopolitics, a concept explored by Michel Foucault. This represents a shift toward biopower, a form of authority that doesn't just punish crimes, but assumes the absolute sovereign right to administer biological life itself. Under the name Kira, Light becomes a panopticon, an unseen, omniscient force of surveillance. Because people never know when he might be watching, they begin to internalize his discipline out of fear. During periods of extreme uncertainty, human populations often surrender to this type of authority, willingly trading their autonomy for the illusion of order. With global crime rates dropping by 70% and fearful citizens worshiping his identity, Light has assumed the functions of a totalitarian regime. He is no longer just a vigilante. He is managing the biological existence of the globe. The utilitarian mask slips the moment Light feels threatened. To protect his identity, he murders innocent law enforcement agents who have committed no crimes other than investigating him. The philosophy shifts into pure Machiavellianism. Individuals become expendable statistics the moment they hinder the greater good of Kira's survival. In his battle with rival detectives, his original mission of global peace is supplanted by a desperate need to prove his intellectual dominance. Winning the game becomes more important than the lives he claims to save. The moral crusade was merely a cover for a core of weaponized narcissism. The philosophy didn't guide his actions, it justified his ego. Light's behavior follows a specific psychological blueprint: extreme grandiosity, emotional detachment, and a demand for total superiority. This is the architecture of a god complex. This megalomania is a defense mechanism. He demands godhood because he cannot accept the limitations of his own mortality. If he is a god, his murders are not crimes, they are divine judgments. This delusion creates a terminal loop of isolation. Empathy vanishes, and even human relationship, from his family to his supporters, is reduced to a strategic utility to be used and discarded. Light Yagami's story suggests that even the most righteous ideals can warp when filtered through a human ego with unchecked power. When accountability disappears, the distance between justice and tyranny is much shorter than we think.